Yo, what's going on guys? It's Logan and welcome back to the channel. Before we dive into this video, I just wanted to let you know that this video is from a Twitch stream that I did previously. I started streaming on Twitch every Monday, Wednesday, and Friday night at 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. So my link to my Twitch account will be in the description below, so make sure you guys go check that out because I have to really edit these videos down because of copyright issues and stuff like that. So it's way better when you actually tune into a stream live. So make sure you guys go subscribe to my Twitch account and get ready for those streams, man. It's so much fun. But anyway, you're here for the video. Let's dive into it.
So let's kind of go through the movies real quick. We got A Christmas Story, which I'll get when I rank it. I'll kind of get into it a little more in depth. But I watched this movie for the first time this year, and it's a really good Christmas movie. Black Christmas, the only horror movie on here, but it is really solid. We have Elf with Will Ferrell. That's on everybody's top 10. Jim Carrey's How the Grinch Stole Christmas. How the Grinch Stole Christmas, the original animated movie, which is amazing. Home Alone 1 and 2. Miracle on 34th Street, the remake. I haven't seen the original, but I did watch the remake this year as well for the first time, and it was really good. I enjoyed it. There was a lot of problems with it, but I think once I watch the original, I'll be like, okay, I see. I'll talk about that a little more when I rank it. You'll see what I'm talking about. Polar Express, great film, and then the Santa Claus, which is also a go-to for everybody. So these are the 10 movies we're going to be ranking. I'm going to start with 10th place and work my way up to number 1. All right, so in 10th place, I'm going to probably have to go with we're going to go with Black Christmas. Now, the reason it's so low is because when I watch a Christmas movie, I don't go for a horror movie. I watched this movie. Now, listen, I'm somebody who I always watch Christmas movies right after Thanksgiving or in December. You don't ever see me watching any Christmas movie any time of the year other than December or right after Thanksgiving. I'm not like that. I usually like to have that build up to Christmas and the Christmas movies and the Christmas music. So you don't ever see me watching Christmas movies anytime other time of the year other than right after Thanksgiving and during December. But this is a movie that I do just because it's a horror movie, so I'll watch it around Halloween. So it's kind of my first Christmas movie of the year. I love it. It's great. This movie basically made slashers. You had Psycho. I think you had Texas Chainsaw Massacre this same year as this one. I think it was 1974, right? I believe so. Yeah, 1974. So this basically just opened up the floodgates for movies like Halloween and Friday the 13th and all of that. Really, this was Halloween before Halloween. Everything from the POV shots. If you guys know, I'm a big horror fan. I love Halloween in particular. And with this film, it's basically Halloween before Halloween. It's great. It's fun. It's a classic slasher with fun kills, good killer, and John Saxton. You can't go wrong with John, bro. You can't go wrong with him. He's great in this movie. I love him, of course, in Nightmare on Elm Street as well. But he's phenomenal in this one. It's really solid, man. Great film. And I think it, like I said, really gave way to films like Halloween, Friday the 13th, and all the slashers that came in the 80s. So a really solid film overall. But it's not as good as these other ones. These other ones I watch more during Christmas time than this one. But I have to say it is a Christmas movie, so I have to give it respect and put it at 10. All right, number 9. All right. So I didn't rank these movies beforehand, so I'm going to be kind of ranking them as we go on. Number 9, I'm going to have to go Miracle on 34th Street. Now, this is a movie that I just watched a couple days ago for the first time. It's the remake. The original came out like 1947 or something crazy like that. I didn't watch that one, but I did watch this one. This is a really good Christmas movie. The cast is phenomenal. The little girl in this movie, I don't know her name. I think she played Matilda as well and had a pretty big career as a child actress. But she is hilarious in this movie, bro. Her comedic timing is great. She's really fun to watch, really entertaining, and she plays her character really well. And it's really her and the rest of this cast that really pushes the story forward and what makes this movie as good as it is. Without this cast, this movie would have probably. No, I don't want to say would have fell flat on its face, but it definitely would have not been as good, or not as nearly as good as it came out to be. This cast really carried this movie on its back. It is really solid, but my biggest issue with this movie and why it's below all these other ones, and it had so much potential, is I feel like it tried to copy what the original did. I've never even seen the original Miracle on 34th Street. I'm sure some of you guys have. It's like a must see, and I still haven't seen it. I know I'll get around to it. But I still feel like there was the pacing issues. The reason that the pacing issues were there in this film is because it felt like it needed to follow a formula, and it didn't want to go out and do its own thing. Like it felt like, okay, we're a remake, so let's try to remake and just retell the almost exact same story as the original Miracle on 34th Street. And I think that's why the pacing was thrown off. I really do. And I've never even seen the original, but that's the vibe I kind of get. So yeah, that's my main issue, is it felt like it was trying to copy what the original did, and the pacing is kind of all over the place. And the pacing was kind of rough toward the end. And the ending is just kind of, it's like, whatever. They could have, I hate saying this because I know it's not a real movie and real events, obviously, it's a film. But, like, this movie went from being semi-realistic, I guess, to just way off the charts. Way off the charts within the last 10 minutes. And it just felt like it was a totally different movie, and they really rushed the last 10 minutes of it just to, like, throw it in there. So that's where the pacing kind of gets thrown off for me. Is toward the end of the film, especially, and it's just like, oh, okay, this was a really good movie, and then the ending, it's like, it didn't really stick the landing. It was a little rough, but it was overall a really fun film, and I really enjoyed myself watching it. I've only seen it one time, so this movie can either go maybe way up higher or fall out of the top 10 and give way to another film. But I enjoyed it, and like I said, man, that little girl, she was really funny. I think she carried this movie. Her comedic timing was wild. It's better than most adult actors, so it was really funny to see, and she did a really good job. Now we got number 8. Now this is where it gets a little tough. Now those two, I was pretty confident about where they went. Killer Assassin, what's up? What's up? Now we're at number 8. Number 8 for me has got to be Home Alone 2. A lot of people like Home Alone 2, and I think it's going to be a pretty controversial pick. A lot of people will probably put Home Alone 2 in the top 3. A lot of people actually like Home Alone 2 over the original Home Alone, which I just don't see that at all. I guess I'm going to drink out of this the strawberry Fanta. Ugh. Everybody watching this video on YouTube after the fact is going to be like, why does he have a strawberry Fanta? It just feels like, hey, we had a really good, successful first film. Let's just go crazy with the second one and put Kevin in New York. The circumstances are starting to get a little more far-fetched now, obviously. The first one was at least semi-believable, I guess. But this one kind of went way off the rails and just had fun with it. It's an entertaining movie. I still love it. These are my top 10 Christmas movies. I love every single one of these films. But it's just really just not as good as any of these other ones. That's really what it really comes down to. It's just it just falls short of all the rest of these films. But it's a good Christmas movie, man. A lot of good moments. Obviously, Macaulay Culkin has a great performance as well. Same with the two bad guys. Joe Pesci obviously is incredible, and does another really good job in this film. And what I love about this film is the Christmas vibe it gives off. It gives off arguably a better Christmas vibe and environment than the original Home Alone, with the whole Christmas store and everything regarding that. That's a really good moment. I love that sequence. Really, all the sequences that take place in the Christmas store. But it just, once again, not as good as these other movies that I'm about to rank above it. But really fun overall, man. I like it. The next one, we're gonna be at number 7 now. Not even halfway through yet. This is where it's going to get a little controversial. This is where people are going to be like arguing in the comments or in the chat. I'm going to probably put I'm gonna put the How the Grinch Stole Christmas, the animated one from like the 1960s, I think. Um, this movie, bro, or whatever, it's like really short, isn't it? Like 30 minutes or something. This is a really good film. It's a classic. It's really short but fun, straight to the point. Great story. Really good animation for its time. Uh, it's probably the most Christmassy movie that you can watch. It gives off the best Christmas vibes. Like, bro, you watched How the Grinch Stole Christmas, the original animated one, and you're just in a Christmas mood. You know what I mean? Like, I think more than at least uh, four of these other movies. It's really great, man, and I love the vibe it gives off. I love the atmosphere, and it's really really solid. I don't know. Oh, this is tough, man. I'm gonna have to go Christmas Story, and I'll explain why. This is a lot of people's number one, and I totally get it, man. I love A Christmas Story. I watched it for the first time about a week ago, and I expected, and like the first, almost actually stopped watching it about 5 minutes in because I was like, oh, these are just, it's gonna be like I don't have anything wrong with, I don't have a problem with kids movies and like kid jokes, but it just seemed like a bunch of stupid jokes that like I wouldn't think are funny. You know what I mean? That were maybe too kid-like, if that makes sense, and that were too childish, and I wouldn't really enjoy. And there's a lot of those jokes and a lot of those vibes within the first like 5 minutes of this movie. But the more that you watch it, dude, I'm so glad I kept watching it. The funnier it gets. It gets funny. This is a great movie, dude. It actually had me laughing out loud a few times, which is rare, by the way. Like, even if I'm watching like a movie that I think is really funny, I rarely laugh out loud. I'll just like just do a little, you know what I mean? Like when you breathe out through your nose, like, you know, um, I'll do that sometimes, but I rarely actually laugh. Right? This movie I think made me laugh about 2 to 3 times, which is rare. Really solid film. The kid is pretty funny in it. Fun cast. It's really solid, man. This is a really good movie, and I see why people love it. But since I just watched it last week, some of these other movies, and really no, sorry, not some of these other movies. The rest of the movies on here hold more of a I don't know, man. I guess a nostalgic place in my heart, right? Nostalgia starts to kind of play a bigger role here with these films. And I think I enjoy myself watching these other ones more. I've only seen A Christmas Story one time, but I really liked it, and there's definitely a chance that this movie could definitely move up into the top three, 100%. It's a good movie. Had a really good time with it. Gosh, all right. Now this next one's a pretty easy one too. I'm gonna go to Santa Claus in 5. We're halfway into it now. This is a good movie. This is a movie that I grew up watching a lot, pretty much with the rest of these movies, but this one I watched especially a lot. It was my favorite Christmas movie, or my second favorite Christmas movie growing up. Loved it. Just it's every kid's dream, right? And it's great. This kid, sees his dad become Santa Claus, and he gets to go to the North Pole and be best friends with an elf Bernard. You know what I mean? It's like, it's just cool, bro. Like, it's every kid's dream, and this movie really succeeds at capturing the Christmas spirit, the Christmas vibe. It's a realistic take on it. Like, if some random guy did become Santa Claus and still had to go to work and stuff, he'd be faced with a lot of the problems that he does face in this movie. I'm not a fan of the sequels. The second and third one are rough, especially the third one. But this first one is a classic. It's great. It's funny, bro. No, yeah, the Santa Claus, good movie. Never should have done sequels. Really solid film. I want you guys to tell me what goes in the fourth place now. We got Elf, Jim Carrey's How the Grinch Stole Christmas, the OG Home Alone, and Polar Express. I want you guys to tell me which one would you put in four? Polar to Polar Express number 4.
What? Bro, what are you talking about, man?
I'm gonna have to put Elf there, bro. I'm gonna get a lot of hate for this. People, I feel like the Elf fandom is a cult. You know what I mean? Like, I'm being for real. Like, people stand by this movie. They will die beside this movie. It's a good movie. It's a really good... No, stop. It's not a really good movie. It's a great Christmas movie. But people say this is like the best movie of all time. let's relax a little bit, all right? I love Will Ferrell. I love the cast. Zoe Deschanel is amazing. But what? People say this is number one. No, it doesn't deserve to be up there. Sorry, it deserves to be up there, right? But not for me. This movie is a solid number 4. There's not really any flaws with it, other than I just enjoy these other 3 movies better. But yeah, man, Elf is just, I think my main problem with this movie is the fact that it gets so much hype. People love this movie so much that I think it's so overhyped, bro. It's so overhyped. I don't know, man. There's not really anything negative you can say other than I feel like the hype it gets ruins it. It's so overrated. It's so overrated, bro. And it's hard to make a movie like this overrated. It really is, because it's such a great film. But when everybody talks about this movie being the best Christmas movie every single year over and over, it gets annoying. You know what I'm saying? It gets annoying. And you know what's interesting? None of these movies on here are recent. None of them are. What happened to good Christmas movies? You know? I mean, Violent Nights Out with David Harbour. I haven't seen that one yet. But like, what happened to like a good feel-good Christmas movie, bro? They're not around anymore. They're just not around. They're not around. Polar Express isn't that great. Oh, wow. What do you mean? What do you mean? That's it for that. Let's go to the third film. All right. Home Alone goes in number 3 spot. I love Home Alone. Love Home Alone, dude. It's a great film. It's a great movie. It's not even a good Christmas movie. It's a good movie. But it's a great Christmas movie, bro. Yeah, Mr. Incognito's like, ooh, I know, bro. Hey, we're getting a little crazy. We're getting a little crazy. It's a good film. I love it. Macaulay Culkin's great. He's a tremendous kid actor. It's funny. Comedic timing's great. There's really not a lot of negative to say about this movie. I just like these 2 more. I think the thing that makes... There's a lot going through my brain right now. Let me say this. This movie does a really good job of having a good Christmas atmosphere. There's a lot of movies out there that lack a good Christmas atmosphere throughout the film. Like, that's one thing about A Christmas Story. I think it could have had a little bit more Christmas elements to it, I guess. Even though it's a very Christmas movie, there's still, I think, a lot... Excuse me, bro, that carbonation's messing me up. There's still a lot of space to make it more Christmassy. Home Alone is a very Christmassy movie, and they did a good job of balancing that really well, which a lot of movies that are similar to it didn't do as well. So it does a really good job at that. But I feel like these other 2 movies right here give off more of a Christmas vibe. And that's what I'm looking for in a movie, in a Christmas movie. I want to feel Christmas as much as possible when I'm watching a Christmas movie. And these 2 movies right here do it the best, I think. Out of any Christmas movie ever, I think they do it the best that I've seen. Now we got the top 2. I think we got through the most controversial stuff. Now I think everybody's like, all right, you know, our expectations are already low. We don't care. It is what it is. I'm going to reveal number 1 and number 2 with these picks, so I'll just put both of them down. That's my list. That's my list, man. So those are my top 2. So we got Jim Carrey's How the Grinch Stole Christmas at number 2, and then we have The Polar Express at number 1. Let's start with The Grinch, man. This movie, I think, is pretty much neck and neck with Home Alone. It's a great Christmas movie. Someone said, no. Yeah, I'm unfollowing. The Grinch is number 1. Stop, bro. Hey, stop. Let me explain real quick. Let's break it down. The Grinch, and like I said, The Grinch and Home Alone are neck and neck, but I think you get a better vibe from The Grinch. A Christmas vibe from The Grinch. It's also Jim Carrey. Great job. I think he spent like 8 hours in the hair and makeup trailer each and every morning. Might have been more than that. To get that, all the prosthetics and everything on. Just bringing a Dr. Seuss world to life is so hard to do. And this movie did it in the early 2000s. I think the year 2000, I think. If they try to remake this movie in 2022, it would fall straight on its face. It really would. Because number one, they would do a bunch of CGI. They wouldn't put all the time into prosthetics or anything like that. Ron Howard did a great job. He knew what he was doing. It was the perfect director for this type of film. Whoville felt perfect. It was that weird, I think Tim Burton could have also done a really good job with this film. Because it gives off that claustrophobic, busy type of vibe. It was really interesting. And a lot of fun improv in this movie. A movie that I grew up with. It's very nostalgic. One movie, bro, that scared the hell out of me. Or not one movie. The one scene that scared the hell out of me growing up was the scene where they're in like the wrapping paper room or whatever, and then the Grinch is like up on the roof against the wall, like Spider-Man type stuff, dog. He's looking down at Cindy Lou Who or whatever. Yo, I had so many nightmares from that growing up. But it's a good movie, and it's a movie that I watch no matter what. And this poster on here, that poster right there, I remember it so vividly on like the VHS tape box, and that's what I grew up with. I love that movie to death, though. There's not a lot to say about it. It's just a really good film. And then number one, we got The Polar Express. Listen, like I said, you either love this movie or hate it. There's nobody that's like, I guess Reagan earlier said it's an okay movie. But you go to the majority of the population, you ask, do you like Polar Express or what do you think about it? It's going to pretty much be 50-50. I love this movie to death or this movie is straight up trash. And this movie's phenomenal. It's a movie that I grew up with. I think it came out in 2004. I was born in 2004. It gives off the best Christmas vibes. People say that they rewatch it and that the animation doesn't hold up. Yeah, the animation's not good, but it was good for 2004. And the story still holds up. It's still watchable. It's still fun. It gives off the best Christmas vibes, bro. And I watch it every Christmas Eve. I really do. So today's the 23rd. I'm going to watch it tomorrow. And when this video comes out, I'll try to get this video out tomorrow as well on the 24th on Christmas Eve. And it's just, I'll watch it every Christmas Eve. It's a great vibe. The music in it's great. One of the best soundtracks of all time, I think personally. It's so good, man. It is such a great movie. I watch Polar Express every Christmas Eve. And Tom Hanks plays like 20 different characters in this movie and does a great job at every single one. And I think a big reason I really enjoy this movie too is because growing up at my elementary school, they would always have like the little Polar Express day, like right before Christmas break. And you would do like the hot chocolate, you get your Polar Express ticket, you take your picture with the ticket and the hot chocolate and sit down and watch the movie in class. And dude, that was one of the best memories, right? Just a fun film, dude. And like I said, people hate on it. They say that the animation doesn't hold up. I think it does. I think it's still a great movie. And I think it's still really entertaining and really fun to watch. So it goes in the number one spot for me. So yeah, man, there it is. There's my list. So I know a lot of you guys disagree with it, but we're going to kind of run through it one more time. At number one, we have The Polar Express. Number two, Jim Carrey's How the Grinch Stole Christmas. Number three, Home Alone. Number four, Elf. 5, The Santa Claus. 6, A Christmas Story. 7, How the Grinch Stole Christmas, the animated movie from, I believe, the 50s or 60s. And then number 8, Home Alone 2. Number 9, Miracle on 34th Street, the remake, I believe in 1994. And then number 10 is Black Christmas, the OG 1974 movie. So there you go, man. That's my list. I'm pretty happy with this list, to be honest. I watched pretty much... obviously, I watched A Christmas Story and the Miracle on 34th Street for the first time this year. But all these movies I watch every single year during the Christmas season. I enjoy every single one of them. They're all great. Like I said, some of the honorable mentions are National Lampoon's Christmas Vacation, which is a really funny one. And then Gremlins is definitely up there as well. Die Hard's not a Christmas movie, so everybody watching this that thinks that, no, it's not.